Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Mothership Project, and today we will be talking about books. Now, I believe it is never too early or never too late to start reading. We did a video on how to introduce books to babies, and this video is how to introduce books to adults. So if you want to start reading but don't know where to start from, which books to choose, and you don't want to read Chetan Bhagat, now don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against Chetan Bhagat. I have read my fair share of Chetan Bhagats and enjoyed them too. But I think people like me who are in their 30s, they don't want to read the typical Bollywood cliched romances which we all know don't exist in real lives. So I'm here with some book recommendations which I think are excellent reads for beginners and which will want you to read more and more books. So without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, now this is the first book, The Unlikely Adventures of the Shergill Sisters by Balli Kaur Jaswal, and this is a wonderful book. It is funny, it is sensitive, and everything is just right about this book. Now, this is the story of three estranged sisters who have been requested by their mother on her deathbed to take a pilgrimage to India and scatter her ashes. Now, the sisters very reluctantly take this trip because obviously it is their mother's last wish. But in the course of this trip, they realized that how badly all of them needed this trip because each one of them had some struggles in her lives, and how they reconnect over these trips and how their sisterly bond is awakened once more. A beautiful, beautiful story. The second one is Tatooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris. Now, this book was recommended to me by a dear friend of mine, and I'm so glad she recommended this book to me because I am the kind of person who literally judges the book by its cover and the title, and I would definitely not have picked this book up because I somehow felt that this is a thriller. It is not a thriller, it is a love story it is based on the Nazi concentration camps. It is a real life story which has been romanticized a bit, but a real life story nonetheless. It is the story of Leah Sokolov, who is taken to the Nazi concentration camp and is given the job of tattooing the numbers on the arms of the prisoners. So there he meets this girl and they fall in love, and how their love blooms in these troubled times, and how they get out of the concentration camps, and how their life has been in the concentration camp. It's a beautiful story, and to think that it is real, that this thing really happened to someone I don't have words to describe it. You must read it. The third one is The Beekeeper of Aleppo by Christy Leftery. Another hauntingly beautiful story about love, loss and grief. Now, this is a sad story. It is a little bit sad, but beautiful nonetheless. It is the story of Nouri and Afra. They have a beautiful little house and a lovely family in the town of Aleppo. Their world comes crashing when they lose their 2-year-old son due to the ongoing war in Syria, and it just shatters them. They have lost all will to live, and but still they have to live, they have to survive. Now, it is their story from Syria to the United Kingdom where they are taking refuge. Now, they have lost their son, and both of them have a different way of mourning, and due to which they are not even in touch with each other. They have drifted apart. So it is basically a story of how they overcome this grief, how they live through this grief and then rediscover each other. Very, very beautiful story. Please, it is a must read. The fourth one is The American Marraige by Tayari Jones. Even Barack Obama says that this book is moving. Now, this book is about a newlywed couple who unfortunately happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the husband somehow gets convicted for a crime he has not committed, and only his wife knows that he has not committed this crime. So he gets sentenced to prison for 12 years. How they carry on their relationship. This is a very practical story because when your period of separation is longer than the time you have been together, it really is very difficult to maintain a relationship in those circumstances, especially for a person who is outside. Due to some events, the sentence of the husband gets overturned and he's released early, and he goes back to his house to find that his wife has already moved on. Now, this is essentially a love triangle, but it is a love triangle unlike any other. You will feel sorry and bad for everyone. As I'm telling you this thing, you are feeling bad for the husband, thinking that his wife has been unfaithful. But when you read the story, you will realize that you will see things from the wife's point of view as well. So, a very practical book in today's times, and must read again. Last but not the least is Unmarriageable by Sunaya Kamal. This is the Desi version of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. I mean, everyone has heard of Jane Austen and everyone has heard of Pride and Prejudice. There have been movies about it, but reading a book is a different thing. I was first introduced to Pride and Prejudice by my sister, who was doing her literature honors, and she would just go on about the book. So I have read Jane Austen, but this book will give you an insight on what the Pride and Prejudice is about if you really want to read, but you do not want to start with a heavy Jane Austen book. So this is the go-to book, and you will just love it, because what is there not to love about Pride and Prejudice? So must read. So these are my book recommendations. I hope you will pick one of these up and start reading. If you're looking for more reading inspiration, you can follow me on my Instagram handle, Books and Other Bugs. I will leave a link in the description below. Till then, keep reading. Bye.